Hey, Gary here by the chalkboard. I want to talk about social anxiety because I struggled with social anxiety for most of my life. And for most of my life, I didn't even know I was doing it. I didn't even know I had social anxiety. And this happened when I was a kid at one of my earliest memories, where my older sister and we had to go to this awards banquet, and she and I had to go to the front and carry flowers and hand to these two older girls. And I woke up that morning and I wasn't feeling well, and I didn't want to go. And I didn't know it at the time. It was social anxiety. A few years later, I was the ring bearer in a wedding. My older sister was the flower girl. And I woke up that morning physically sick. I was sick that morning. And during the wedding ceremony, here I am standing in front of everyone with the pillow and the rings on it, and I'm about to throw up. I'm just that close to throwing up. And I was so fortunate that the father of the groom noticed, and he got up in the middle of the ceremony and took me out the side door. And growing up in Alaska, the air was cool, and I remember just breathing that cool air and sitting down and just feeling so relieved with him there sitting next to me. And this went on through a large portion of my life. Just a number of years ago, I was at a Christmas party for work, and I got so physically sick there. My wife at the time, she had to drive me home. I couldn't drive, but I didn't know what it was. There wasn't any answers. There wasn't any reason that I could think it was social anxiety, but it was. I was just anxious to be around groups of people for some reason. I would get it sometimes even going to church. It's a real thing. And it's something that people struggle with. And if you struggle with that, it's not a shameful thing. Don't feel ashamed of that. It's something to look at. A couple of the most important things I think to do are confide in people, have friends, have somebody in your life that you can talk to about it, and be real and open and honest, and lay it all out on the table. Say, you know what, I get anxious when I'm around groups of people because it happens. And one of the most important things that helped me is to realize within myself that I have value in this world. You have value because you're here. Your opinions matter, your thoughts matter. It's okay to speak. It's okay to be completely you, exactly the way you are. The way you are. Be you, because there's nothing else to be. Value yourself as life, this life. You have to value this life, because this life is of value. So if you struggle with social anxiety, recognize that you're not the only one. It still happens sometimes. I'm a lot more aware of it now. In the last 3 or 4 or 5 years of my life, I've become a lot more aware when that begins to happen. I can step back and look at it and go, okay, I see this feeling. I'm going to do something about it. Not long ago on my podcast, I interviewed a woman who lives in Mexico. She is a expert relationship. She's a relationship expert. Kara O is her name. Great interview. If you want to go watch a good podcast, listen to a good podcast. She talked about having a little social anxiety, that she went to this event where there were lots of people and she didn't know anybody, and she's a hugger. She likes to hug people. So to break out of that, she simply walked up to a woman she didn't know and she asked her if she could give her a hug. She just broke through that barrier, recognizing, okay, I'm feeling anxious. I have this anxiety. I'm going to do something to get beyond this. And I'm just going to break out and ask this woman if I can have a hug. And you know what? The woman gave her a hug. So one of the best ways to get out of social anxiety is to step past it and be the one who initiates a conversation with somebody. Go up to somebody you don't know and just say hi, because they may be doing the same thing. Pick someone else who's on the side. You'll recognize them. It's familiar. Pick someone who's on the side, who's not quite involved with everybody else, and just go up and say hi and introduce yourself and ask them their name. What's your name? And then call them by their name. But to take a step past that barrier, that's the best thing you can do. Take a step past that barrier. Find someone in your life that you can confide with and talk to about it. And realize you are valuable as life. You as life, you are of great value. So this is Gary telling you you're of great value. Thank you for listening. And if you found some value in this conversation, please share.